Facsimile communication is a variety of telecommunication. It transmits images with the help of special equipment and electric signals. First prototypes of modern fax machines appeared at the beginning of the 20th century after discovery of a photoelectric effect and invention of electronic lamps. Fax machines were quite widely used by the middle of the century. The signal in such machines was transmitted by telegraph lines, thus the name phototelegraph appeared. Facsimile communication became omnipresent with the development of equipment and telephone networks. This type of communication, just like its many other types, requires three main constituents: a transmitter, a communication line, and a receiver. The transmitter reads off the sender's graphic image, encodes it, and sends it into a communication line. Correspondingly, the receiver decodes and reproduces the image. When we put a paper sheet with an image into a fax machine, a mobile light spot starts analyzing it. This spot eliminates all lines of the sheet area. The light reflected from the sheet is intensity modulated. These intensity oscillations are converted into electric ones with the help of a photoelectric converter. Such converters were represented earlier by photoelectric cells or photomultipliers, but now more often they are represented by matrix photosensors. Now the signal at the converter output has to be modulated so that it is transmitted into a communication channel. As a rule, amplitude modulation is used, which corresponds to one of the communication protocols. Protocols correspond to a certain type of communication channel. Standard telephone lines with passband up to 3.4 kHz are used everywhere for facsimile communication. However, transmission of high-quality images is ensured by telegraph lines with passband up to 240 kHz. The receiving party performs the opposite procedure. It demodulates the signal. Using received fragments, it successively constructs the original image and then prints it out. Synchronization of transmitter and receiver is automatic. Synchronization faults result in a distorted image. Now we shall tell some more about the printout mechanism. I remind you that a graphic image is transmitted. It can be formed in several ways, for example by a brightness-modulated light ray on the photographic paper or by electric current on the current-sensitive paper. However, thermal printing is the most popular method. An infrared LED heats up the paper in certain places at a certain temperature. The paper is heat-sensitive. That means it becomes dark at heating. Thus the image is formed, which is identical to the original. Nevertheless, modern fax machines often print with ink on a regular paper. Fax machines have different properties. They have different image size, that is, the size of paper which is loaded into the machine. A4 size is the most widespread. Then transmission rate, that is, the number of lines which can be transmitted per minute, is also different. For regular fax machines, this value varies from 60 to 250, while the value is much greater for more complex equipment. Image definition is also different. It is sometimes called resolution or lineature, as it determines the number of lines printed out per 1 mm. The image is formed from these lines. During the last decades of the 20th century, facsimile communication was probably one of the most popular and simple ways of image transmission. Even now, in the 21st century, fax communication still remains quite popular, despite the fact that emails replace it almost everywhere.